In 2011, a Pixar employee named Emma Coates wrote a Twitter thread on the 22 rules for storytelling. They're an absolute masterclass in story, psychology, and human persuasion. And in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how I use these storytelling secrets to write highly addictive emails to over 4,000 copywriters every single day that tell me personally, I can't stop reading these. They are so good. So if you're interested in stealing the secrets from the world's greatest storytellers so you can become a better writer and even sell more of your own products, then this is going to be the best video that you watch all day. But just a heads up, I'm going to put all 22 Pixar storytelling rules down in the description below, but I'm only going to be breaking down the 13 rules that I've personally used to make my writing more addictive and generate over 6 figures of income in my copywriting business every year. Starting with rule number 1. Rule number 1 is you admire a character for trying more than their successes. In this context, in my business, I am my own character. I write personal brand emails coming from me to my customers and readers, offering products that I sell on my own. You are your own character in your brand, whether you have a YouTube channel, a Twitter following, an email-based business like mine. The idea is that hopefully you are a character that your readers like. You want your readers to like you, and they want you to succeed, but they don't want you to succeed easily. People don't like it when somebody is just constantly winning and winning and winning and winning, and it's no fun to read. So you have to sprinkle in the hard roads, the detours, the things that have been thrown your way that have tried to stop you from success. This is the opposite of what most gurus try and teach you, to be an authority and you're always posting your wins. But people want to see the humanity in your storytelling. You have to overcome obstacles, and it makes your storytelling far more addictive because people don't know whether you're going to get there or not. And it also creates this underdog tone because they want to continue to cheer for you. In essence, no great story has ever been told about a character who did everything right. Rule number 2, you have to keep in mind what's interesting to you as an audience, not what's fun to you as a writer. They often can be very different. The sweet spot in your writing and storytelling needs to be in the middle of what do you want to write and what do your readers want to read? What is interesting to them? This is copywriting 101, is that you are focused on your reader's journey. They see themselves in your journey, but you have to write the things they want to read. So before I ever even put pen to paper on my typewriter or anything like that, I'm always thinking, is this going to be interested to my readers? Is this what they like? And a lot of times I'll even point it back to data. I go back to emails I've written before that I've gotten a lot of replies, a lot of purchases on my products and things like that. Or if you've written threads, what have they liked before? And that kind of gives you an inclination of what your readers enjoy and what they don't enjoy. And spend more time writing the stories that they enjoy. Rule number 6, what is your character comfortable with, good at? Throw the opposite at them, challenge them, make them respond. So in this essence, if you are the character, what is the thing that you're really good at? Try something else in life to create stories that increase the amount of obstacles for you. I know this sounds counterintuitive. You want to continue to win, but remember, rule number 1 is people don't want to read people who are just always succeeding and everything goes right for them. For example, I'm a clientless copywriter. I don't write for clients almost ever. I write my own stuff and build my own products, but every once in a while, I will take on a client in a niche that I've never written for ever before, just for the story to see how it goes. Sometimes it goes crazy and I get a viral story like the one I wrote on Twitter one time where I fired a $6,000 client. Sometimes it goes really well and I still get the story. Do things in your life that make you, the character, get out of your comfort zone so you can at least get a story out of it. Rule number 7, come up with an ending before you figure out the middle. Endings are hard. The way that I use this in my email storytelling is I always get in front of my readers of what I am trying to accomplish next. Whether it's launching a new business or even things like a personal hobby, breaking 100 in my golf game. There's always some goal, some ending that I am chasing after, and I'm kind of guiding my reader along in the journey so they know what exactly it is that I'm chasing. It gives them clarity. It gives them a map. And you don't always have to give away the ending, but at least knowing your end goal will give you a map of what to write towards. Rule number 8, finish your story even if it's not perfect. In an ideal world, you have both, but move on and do better next time. This is a rule I apply every single day because, as you know, I write a daily email to my 4,000 plus copywriters and readers. And people often ask me, like, how do you write a daily email? Like, there's just the perfectionist in them, or the idea of coming up with stories is that not every single thing that you write is going to be gold. But the more you write, the more chances that your writing is going to be better and better and better and better. I've personally put myself on the hook that every day I'm going to tell one story to my audience. I'm going to try and make it as amazing as possible, but some days it is what it is. You ship it, you move on. This is the best way to become an incredible storyteller, is that you show up every day, you write a story, you write your email, you write your thread, whatever it is, you ship it, you move on, and you do better tomorrow. Rule number 10, pull apart the stories you like. What you like in them is part of you. You've got to recognize it before you could use it. This is something that I recommend every copywriter, writer has, is a swipe file. Every time I read something that's incredibly interesting, especially a story or anything like that, I put it in my digital swipe file. I keep a Notion folder with all of the great stories. I copy and paste them and I move them along, and I try and figure out what is it that I like about this story, specifically things that made me buy something. If your story, your email made me buy something, I try and reverse psychology that and say, what emotions did you trigger that made me so enticed that I actually spent money on this thing? And I use that in my copywriting tactics. Understanding what makes you tick as the audience will help put your brain in the audience's shoes when you are writing for them. Rule number 11. Putting it on paper lets you start fixing it. If it stays in your head, you'll never share it with anyone. One of the best pieces of wisdom that I've ever gotten from my mentors and other writers is that writing begets writing. Meaning, you're not writing once you get the idea, you're writing to get the idea. Sometimes I've had just a crinkle of a thought that I said, what is that? And then you start writing it, just a draft, nobody has to see it, and you let the idea come to you. You let the story evolve on its own as you are writing. Oftentimes when I write my 500, 600, 700 word emails, I barely have a sentence that's like, I think this is the direction I want to go in. And I just keep going and let it flow out. And oftentimes I ship those stories with very little editing because I figured out that the way that it's evolved on its own is really, really natural. So don't worry about perfecting the idea before you start writing it out. Write it out to get the idea. Rule number 13 is give your characters opinions. Passive malleable might seem likable as you write, but it's poison to your audience. This specific rule reminds me of that part in Revelation in the Bible where it talks about like God will spit out the lukewarm. The same thing is true with your audience and your reading. When you write lukewarm, when you're not for or against anything, your writing becomes really boring. It's not really interesting at all. People want to know, what exactly is your character for? What is the things that they love? What are they passionate about? What are they striving for? And what is your character against? What are the things that they hate? What do they find evil in the world? You have to have those two things in your branding. You have to have a brand enemy and a brand ally in your writing. And oftentimes it's best to have one of each that you beat up over time. Think Harry Potter, Voldemort type thing. He has a huge enemy that it took 7 books to defeat. People don't get sick of your enemy. They continue to rally around your enemy. This is going to create super fans for your brand, and it's also going to repel the people who honestly you want nothing to do with your reading. You don't want them reading your stuff anyway. Rule number 14, why must you tell this story? What is the burning belief in you that your story feeds off of? Whenever you sit down to tell a story, you have to go back to the heart of it and say, why did I think this was good anyway? What made me think, man, that would be super fun to tell? The heart of the story is often the same emotion you're actually trying to emulate in your reader. Did it make you happy? Did it make you sad? Did it make you angry? That's what makes a good story, is the heart of it gave you some sort of emotion and you're trying to replicate that emotion in the person reading it. So that's going to guide the way that you write your stories, because you're going to use certain verbiage to evoke certain emotions, and that emotion originally started with you. Rule number 15, if you were your character in this situation, how would you feel? Honesty lends credibility, which if you're a copywriter like me, credibility is the number one resource to salesmanship because people are not buying your product, they're buying you, especially in a business like mine where it's a personal branded business, not a logo or anything like that. Some of the best emails that I've ever written that people have replied and buyed from are when I genuinely just wore my heart on my sleeve. I've told stories where I've been angry at clients, where clients have shafted me in the past and how pissed off they made me, and I was just really honest. And I've told heartfelt stories where I was struggling with my business and I was just thinking about past times and really heartfelt stories, and I've been really, really honest about it. And those have built the most trust where people are like, oh, he's not just some fake guru trying to, sell his own stuff. This guy's a real human with a family, with emotions, with life, with problems, with wins, with successes. And I can relate to that. And so people tend to believe you more because you're being honest. You're not coding the Instagram highlight reel of I'm always winning. And vulnerability is so rare nowadays that when you inject it into your storytelling, it makes people really believe that this is worth reading. Rule number 16, what are the stakes? Give us a reason to root for the character. What happens if they don't succeed? Stack the odds against them. Stakes is one of the most underrated forms of storytelling. I like to combine this with finishing the ending of your story. What is the thing that you're trying to reach as a character? So you have the ending in mind in that earlier rule. Let's say you, as a personal brand, are writing a story about how you're going to build $1 million agency, for example, right? You are the character in that story. The ending is that you've achieved $1 million agency. What are the stakes if you do not achieve that agency? You have to make the stakes detrimental, not just to yourself, but to your reader. And that increases the chances that people are genuinely rooting for you to continue winning. They want you to achieve your goal. So you start building this super fan base of people who see your goal and they see all the odds stacked against you, all the things you can't overcome. You have to learn this. You don't have time. You have a family depending on you. All of these sorts of things create stakes that if you don't achieve this goal, this bad thing happens. Rule number 17, no work is ever wasted. If it's not working, let go and move on. It'll come back around to be useful for later. I cannot tell you how many times I've started writing a story, an email, a thread, or whatever, and I just like, man, I'm just not feeling it. It's not great. It's not hitting me. I don't think I have it. This is not right. It's not wasted because I'll leave that document. I'll walk away for a couple hours. I'll go play a round of golf. I'll go hang out with my kids. I'll go read a book. I'll go work on something else. I will come back a couple days later, a week later, 2 weeks later, whatever it is. I'll come back and tap that story and it will click. For whatever reason, I have reused and used stories that I thought were dead and brought them back to life. So do not be discouraged if you start writing something and it doesn't click. Just have a place where you can come back to that story, some kind of in draft folder. Again, I like to use Notion and I just set it up in a Kanban, like haven't started, currently writing, published. I do those three and I have so many things in my currently writing. And I cannot tell you how many times I'll just go click through and I'm like, what is this story? Oh yeah. And I'll come back there and I'll rewrite it. Give yourself an opportunity to finish it later. You don't have to knock it out today. And the last rule that we're going to touch is rule number 22. What is the essence of your story? And what's the most economical way of telling it? If you know that, you can build it out from there. The essence of your story is what we call in copywriting your big idea. Your story should have one big idea, one main thing that you're trying to get across, one plot, one guidance towards the end result, especially when you're writing short stories like myself. I'm writing 500 to 600 word style emails. I'm not writing a 500-page novel, right? We're writing Twitter threads, we're writing emails, we're writing ads, we're writing things like that. And so we're using these stories in the most economical way possible. What's the beginning? What's the middle? What's the end? And what's the one thing that I'm trying to get across? Most people make the mistake of interweaving too many concepts, too many characters, too many stories, too many plot lines within the story. And to try and condense that in 500 words is so confusing to the reader. They just don't understand what is the point of this. The fewer the characters, the fewer the plot lines, the fewer the angles, things like that. Start there. Get it to its bare essence. And if you can, and you're an advanced enough writer and you can add some twists, add some turns without actually diluting the story itself, then do that. But start as simple and basic as possible. That's it. Those are the 13 out of the 22 Pixar storytelling secrets that I think are going to help you to become a highly addictive writer and sell more of your stuff to grow your business and really get your writing out there. If you enjoyed these tips, then you are definitely going to love my free copywriting guide called Copywriting Catalyst. It actually carries 63 more tips on how to be highly persuasive with your writing to sell more of your stuff with writing. I'm going to leave a link to that in the description below. All you got to do is click it, put your email in, and it'll send to you instantly.